Okay, so today we are leaving this Anchorage at the south of Labengke, and we're gonna probably anchor in the next island or in Labengke. That's the thing. There's no point we found of other sailors, so we're gonna just, like, we picked already on maps few spots that we think potentially would be okay, and we're gonna visit them. It seems that everywhere around this island, it's really like walls of reef and drop off and super deep, so it's not really sure that we're gonna be able to anchor or even to attach as we did right now, because you need to be really protected. It's kind of windy outside, so yeah, we're gonna do a video about trying to find an anchorage.
We were sort of sad to leave Labengke after we had a few sunny days and really got to explore the place. Wow, it's a magical spot. Yeah, if you're interested, watch our last video how we showed that place, but wow, what a super nice spot. We motored past a spot in last week's video where we went with the dinghy. Here's a shot of it, amazing place. This is the first potential anchorage we found on the satellite maps. Doing a bit of a circuit now, just looking at the depth gauge basically. I'll just do a ring around it. The water's very unclear here though, so it's hard to see the reefs. You can just see it on the edges, but right now we've got 36 meters, so it's not really a good place to anchor. So in that shot you can see the reef right here. So that's probably 2 meters deep, and we're still at 30 something meters here, so not possible to anchor. Alright, we'll go on to the next spot. As you can see, there was no wind this day, but motoring up this coastline was pretty cool. There's so many little nooks and crannies that you actually can't see from the ocean. So using the satellite maps, you start to see them, but you sort of, as you get in close, you realise that there's a little bunch of islands in front of a lagoon, and then the mainland is sort of behind it, so pretty cool to see that. So this is our second anchorage attempt here. Yeah, no good. 39 meters was the shallowest we saw. No good, that's a fail. Up ahead you'll see some brown hills. That's the result of Indonesia's nickel mining. We're doing a video about that next week. You steering good, mister? We're finding an anchorage? Yeah? You gonna take us to the right place? I hope you're concentrating. Don't run us into anything. We've done enough of that ourselves. Huh? You're looking at the depth. This is the depth. This is the speed. Well, we're doing 7 knots, people. Yeah, and we've got no wind. Alright, this is try number 2 or 3. Beautiful little place. The prevailing wind comes from behind this wall here now, so we would be protected. But it's still 50 meters deep right here. So in order to anchor and stern tie, you need it to be, well, 30 meters is okay. But it looks like the colour of the water goes right up to that sand. We'll see though. We'll go a little bit closer now. This would be pretty cool to tie onto a coconut tree. So it's shelving now, we're at 43. But we've still got more options to come, but this is one I hoped was going to be good because it's really beautiful. So it's 35 now. So I don't think so, no. The setup is great, but if the bay was turned another 30 degrees, it's just that the wind would just wrap straight in here. So we would be facing the wind, but we'd be on a lee shore and only 10 meters behind us. So if the anchor, it's not really going to drag probably, but if anything happened, we'd be just directly on the shore. Yeah, and potentially coral under where we would anchor. All right, we'll go and try another. I've still got about 3 more options yet, and it's only, what, maybe 1 o'clock, so we've got enough time.
So yeah, because when we are looking for an anchorage, and even if we know where is the anchorage, we're always trying to come when the light and the sunlight is coming from the top or not too much low, so we can see through the waters. And having the time, if it's not good to find a plan B, because you don't really want to arrive in a place you don't know, half dark, and if nothing is working, so you are more tempted to take a not really good anchorage at the end just because you're tired and you don't really have other options.
All right, well, we sort of came into the middle of this. It feels like we're in a, I don't know, a stadium. Every single person can see us right now, but it's still 35 meters here. And yeah, we're not anchoring here. I thought there might be a mooring buoy right in the middle that someone says, hey, you can have that, but all the kids are running around like crazy, super excited that we're here. But I don't think we can stay here.
So the whole village was super excited, but sadly there were not enough space to drop the anchor, and yeah, like there were no mooring in the middle. They're just tying their fishing boat on their jetties because they don't need to have moorings. But yeah, we can't stay here. Next stop.
All right, we're up to anchorage number 4 or 5. This is a stunning looking one. 34 meters. That's the back of the next one we're going to try. So we're going to try right up in the head of the bay here. Still 35, it hasn't got shallower. And then through this little gap you just saw, that's sort of the back of another one, so we have to go out and around. And then we'll try in there, that's our next option. But we're running out of options. This is an amazing looking spot in here. Super cool, there's massive cliffs behind us and that, but it's 13 meters right here. So it could be a spot. It's going deeper again though now. 18, 20. Yeah, so it's another one. This is sort of the best option so far. If we were desperate and it was 4 o'clock, I could probably make something work in there, but it's just quite narrow between the reef. But yeah, we'll keep going. There's 2 more options. This is a beautiful, beautiful spot. I don't know the name of this place, but there's a bunch of little islands in this sort of little group here. And it looks like some sort of, it doesn't look like a village, it looks like some sort of a, I don't know, holiday area. No people around, but it's 30 meters here. But there's actually a circle of deeper water inside, and there's 2 little flags, and you can sort of see where I guess they've dug up the coral, and it's a sort of a sand entry. It's half tide right now, so what I might do is get in the dinghy and go and measure how deep it is. And I can see a mooring buoy inside in the circle, so I might go and check that and then go and ask, I don't know, see if there's anybody around. Just go and see the situation, because there's a fantastic spot. It would be cool. And we're running out of options. So I'm going to drop the dinghy in and go and recon the zone. So no, it only seemed to be about 1.20 meters, which we could do if I pulled the rudders up. Okay, so it's 2:30 now, and we had another fail there. 30 meters, I could have anchored there, just putting out all the chain and a bunch of road, but still, if it's I don't know, if your anchor gets caught on anything, it's 30 meters down. I'm not free diving down to get it. There was a resort there, sort of, but I went in the dinghy and the people weren't friendly at all. No one came down and said hi or asked if they could help, like most Indonesian places. So just didn't get a good vibe. We couldn't get in the entrance because it was really narrow, 1.2 meters, which would have been just enough, but on the edges there was blocks of coral where they just spread it out, and we're 7 meters wide, you know, so I think we wouldn't have got in there. So that one's out, and so yeah, we've got literally 2 more hours until the sun's starting to go down behind these massive mountains behind us, and then we can't see coral anymore. So earlier in the day we'd be like, oh, that looks like a spot, let's go and look in there. And now we're to the point where if we go just to look at a spot and it's not good, well, that's another 40 minutes wasted. So we really have to pick we're getting to that point now where you're like, oh. But I think I've got a few more spots lined up. It looks like there's a whole range of spots further up on this coast, and we're just got to go and find one. Don't get desperate, but we've got to make it happen, boo-boo. We've got to make it happen so we can sleep tonight. Yeah. You sleep anyway. Alright, so this is an absolute shit show, to be honest. We sort of run out of time. We're in this beautiful spot, calm, protected, everything. We've tried everything to anchor. I think it's just solid rock bottom. The anchor just bounces along the bottom. We've tried 4 or 5 different places here. Not happening. So we're just going to anchor back in there and tie up on the side of that cliff there. Back in the corner, tried a few different angles. Just not happening. The anchor just bouncing along the bottom. And it's too wide here to tie across, and in between that narrow gap it's only 1 meter deep, can't go there. All around here. And yeah, of all the options we've tried today, this looked the best, and I was sort of keeping it for last, like, oh, we'll be fine. But no, not at all. So our options really are now to do an overnight passage. It's 4 o'clock now. We've got 2 more hours of sun. 2 more hours before the sun goes down. It is cloudy and you can't really see into the water. But, you know, we've got satellite pictures. I'm not so worried about that. But there is no other options apart from going back, you know, 10, 15 miles, which is, you know, you're getting on dark and then you're anchoring the dark as well. And none of those options were good anyway. So, yeah. I do know a place further north and it's 15 miles away. And it's, you know, it's in sand. I know it would be good, but you don't want to go there at dark either. And I guess the moral of the story is we left at 9 o'clock this morning thinking, oh, there's so many options. We'll probably only go 5 miles and we'll anchor. I guess the moral of the story is just don't mess around. If we'd left at 7, we would have still had time now to get up to the sand anchorage. But now we don't. And I'm really tired, and Marie's really tired, and the baby's super tired and screaming and yelling because we've been all frustrated and trying to, you know, pull the anchor up 5 or 6 times here and, you know, cursing and swearing because things aren't working out. And so the baby's getting pissed off, and he should have slept 3 hours ago, but the anchor's going up and down, and Marie's needed to help me. And so, yeah, it's been a shit day, to be honest. We've seen amazing things, but we didn't find Anchorage. So that's, yeah, I guess that just happens sometimes. But we're just drifting. I just turned the engines off because I was sick of having them on, but we're not moving. Maybe we just drift here all night. But yeah, I don't want to do an overnight passage, but we sort of have to because otherwise we're just going to be in danger. Whereas at least doing an overnight passage, we go out to sea a bit and we go further up the coast. 130 miles is further along where I know, you know, Luvuk, it's a town up there. Yeah, not what I want though. Anyway, that's what you get sometimes. Beautiful spot though. We saw 2 amazing hornbills, huge hornbills with white tails and big long orange beaks. Flew across just as we got him. We're like, oh, this is the spot. This is going to be the spot. The hornbills are here. Not the spot. It's the spot for the hornbills, not for us. All right, as you can see, we're not doing a night passage. All hope was lost. We sort of gave up, and I filmed that. We're going to do a night passage, and Marie took baby down to have a sleep because we were like, all right, well, whatever, doesn't matter. And then I didn't have a sleep. Yeah, he didn't have a sleep. He's a bit grumpy still, but he's doing all right. But then I was sort of like, well, there's still one more spot that we didn't look at. It didn't look very promising, but because it doesn't really matter now, I might as well just zip over there. I can still see. And then, yeah, we'll just start the night. Doesn't matter when you start a night passage. We'll just go whenever. So I zipped over here. It was only a mile. And then as I got closer, I sort of looked a bit closer on the satellite maps and saw this tiny little island out front. And then this one behind us, I was like, well, that's not that far. I can rope across both sides across that if it's deep enough in between. And it turns out it's the best anchorage we've found today by a mile. It's not the best one I've had in our lives in terms of safety, but it's one of the best visually. It's a stunning place, amazing place. But as you can, as we'll show you with the drone shots. But yeah, it's, if big squalls came through, we wouldn't feel super comfortable here. But if that happens, well, we'll just leave in the middle of the night. So we're not really losing anything, and at least it might be calm all night, and we'll see how we go.
Pretty long day. We were thinking it's going to be an easy video, easy day.
Yeah.
And it turned out to definitely show how to not do it. But yeah, like not really only our fault. We could have left earlier, but it's also then, yeah, this place is definitely a bit challenging to find a place to stop.
It's crazy. Like, I've spent 2 years in Raja Ampat, and you always find something there. Whereas here, it never worked out, as in it was too deep, we couldn't get the anchor, and then the walls were always too far apart to tie up, or they were close but in between was too shallow for us to sit. And there wasn't, like, we've probably went into 10 different anchors today and not one of them worked, and that's never happened to me before. Actually, this morning I sort of was like, oh yeah, we'll be fine. We nearly need to go to a few to make a video. Otherwise it'd be boring if we just get to the second one and like, oh, there we go. But it didn't work out that way. Like, really challenging day.
And that's something for people who are not like actually sailing or living on a boat and have to anchor. It's super weird for me still after all these years that you can be so close of land, like a few meters of the edge, and you're like, ah, that's an amazing spot, we could stop here. And you realize that there's no way of doing it.
Yeah.
It's just like super frustrating to be like, oh, we are in a super good place, but I can't do anything.
Anyway, we'll stop this now. We'll hope you guys have learned something from this. This is a bit of it's not really educational, but hopefully you can learn from us on what we can see and that. And it's sort of hard to get too detailed with the filming with the actual anchoring process, because this guy,
and even without this guy, it's already challenging.
But with him as well, like trying to do the actual anchoring with us too, and then film as well, and me holding him in one hand and trying to film. So anyway, we did the best we could, and we hope you guys appreciate it. We appreciate all your viewers and patrons and PayPal adders, and yeah, a couple of people gave some the little things, little donations last video on YouTube, which is cool. Apart from YouTube take 30% of that, so that's not that cool, but it is what it is. Thank you very much anyway, and we'll see you next week. This guy has to go to bed. He's finished for the day.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.